firm, but these are nice and soft and flavorful. The only flavoring in them is salt, you know, and then whatever God did with the beans specifically. So, beans, it's pretty simple, and I do them. I soak them during the day for at least 6 hours, maybe like 8. And I'm trying to decide here. And I'm just going to measure them into here for the sake of having it. I'm just going to measure 1 cup. A crock pot like this, I put about 2 cups in, and then I just pour water in to soak for the 6 to 8 hours. And so I do that usually so that I time it so that at bedtime, I'll start the beans cooking in the crock pot. And I usually, for us, I often just do this size crock pot. This will hold 2 cups of beans, dry beans, and then you soak them, and then I take them and I dump off the extra water. And I wanted you to see this because, do you see, like the water looks dirty, and I think that's probably a good thing. Not that it was the dirt, but there's some things that are kind of released with the beans being soaked, which I think tends to settle better for my stomach. And so then after I've dumped that, I would dump them into the crock pot and fill the crock pot to about a 1/2 inch from the top. So this size crock pot, I would do 2 cups of dry beans. I have a medium-sized crock pot, kind of. I can do 3 cups of beans in that, and then my large one in the back, that was 6 cups of dry beans. That kind of gives you an idea, but you'll have to kind of play with what your crock pot can hold. Now, for the flavoring, I just do the salt, and I cooked these overnight, and then for every cup of beans, dry beans, for every cup of dry beans, I do 1 teaspoon of salt. So this has 2, so I'm just doing 2 teaspoons of salt. And then, for the sake of what I have, I'm just going to mix them up. And this is black beans here. If you want to look at them later, you can see or whatever. But I just mix them up and let them sit for a few minutes, and then they're ready to serve. That's it. So it's really easy to have really tasty, really creamy beans. And they just, my family loves them. Zoe doesn't tend to want beans out of a can because she likes the creamy beans. So that's kind of how those work out. And I'm going to move these things out of the way, and then Zoe's going to show you how to make the crackers. They're very simple. I'm going to move this here. Okay, and we're going to slide your stuff down, Zoe, so that you can show that.
This can go right there.
That can go there, okay. Zoe does this at home sometimes, and she likes to do it like she's showing others how to do it. So I'm going to put this in front of you, okay? Okay, go ahead, Zoe. Here's your spoon, okay? You can just tell them how you make those crackers. We're just going to do the mixing together part because they have to sit for like 2 to 5 minutes. So go ahead.
You first take sunflower seeds and you dump. My mom.
How much sunflower seeds?
I forgot, Mom.
Do you remember? Half
Half a cup.
a cup.
And they're pumpkin seeds, half a cup. Chia seeds.
No, it's sesame?
Sesame seeds, half a cup. And then chia seeds, half a cup.
Pretty simple.
And then water.
Oh, how much salt? Do you know?
Salt,
Half
a cup.
teaspoon.
Half a teaspoon.
Half a teaspoon of
You
salt.
have to kind of put your fingers in the dish. If it's glass, scrape out the salt.
You want that?
Then you mix it. Have to mix it good.
Now what?
And then you add 1 cup of water. And then you stir it. Makes the spoon kind of messy because cheeses, when water gets in them, oh, are they messy. They can stick to your hands, and then you have to go to the sink and wash them off.
And the chia seeds are what make the crackers hold together.
Yeah.
So that's what binds the crackers together. So for now, we're just going to let the cracker mix sit. You got it. You're going to clean it off? Okay. Okay, now you can sit on the towel. Good girl. Let's just set it here. We're going to put this down here. And while I'm going to let Zoe start on, she's just going to show you how she cuts up, but I'm going to talk while she's quietly cutting here. She's going to cut up things to put together for our salad, like what we did. And you can put your things here.
Tomato salad, what you might be eating right now.
Yes. So you're eating the salad, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the rice. I just made the rice this time in the rice cooker. If you don't have a rice cooker, the way I would probably do brown rice at home is I would toast it on low heat for about 5 minutes until it starts to get a little bit goldeny, more goldeny. And then I would add, for 1 cup of rice, I would add 2 cups of water, and I would add a little bit of salt. And then I would let it come to a boil, and then turn it back to low for about 45 minutes. And so, and covered with just a little bit, so that you can let a little steam escape. That's what I do. Other people do different things. You can look online, but my husband said he made baked rice one time and it was amazing, but he said he only worked it out one time. And so I've heard of people soaking their rice overnight and then doing it. So there's a variety of ways, but that's kind of how I go about it. But if you want to keep it simple, rice cookers are wonderful. And so I do that. The creamy, I've got a good little chef here. The creamy type dressing, the thing that's kind of like sour cream or mayonnaise, we use it for either or.
I won't.
Yesterday I made a fresh tomato, cut up tomatoes with onions sauteed in the pan, and then I added this in with basil and some salt.
It was delicious.
It was delicious, and we put it over pasta. So this creamy is very versatile. Anyways, so unfortunately I don't have. This is morinu tofu.
Can I add something?
Yes.
And the tomatoes come from our own garden. They're called Sugar Rush tomatoes. They're amazing tomatoes.
Yeah, the tomatoes were fresh today. I'm going to use
And
this
the
one.
ones
Sorry.
in the pasta were colored breakfast, and that's my favorite tomato.
Yeah, I used a golden colored tomato for the pasta yesterday.
And you know what? One time I ate a whole colored breakfast tomato at a lunch.
For the most part. So
Mom just cut off the green part of it.
yeah. So you have the morinu tofu, 1 teaspoon of salt. She can cut the tomatoes. Mm-hmm. And then, to be honest, when I do the onion powder, normally I just kind of sprinkle it in because that's how I tend to cook. But for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to use 1 teaspoon, and that's what I put in the recipe. Do we have the recipes by any chance, or did they? Okay, so the recipes are going to be here, so you'll get those. And on the recipe, I don't know if it was able to be changed or not, but on the recipe, there used to be more tofu in the tofu package. Now it's a little less, and I just feel like 2 tablespoons of lemon juice is enough. but you can do 3 if you really like the zingy. I did it where it was approximately 2 tablespoons in the batch I made, the batch I made for tonight. So 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. You can use fresh lemon juice. This is supposed to be just lemon, and so that's what I have for here. And I think my mic's falling off my ear. Sorry. There we go, I think. And 1 tablespoon of olive oil. So there's not a lot of calories to this, really. This way, so we do it this way. It's not calorie rich. And then I'll just blend it a little bit, okay? It's loud. You may want to turn off my microphone. Oops. There we go. So basically, until it's as creamy as you want it to be, and that's done. Zoe's putting together a salad, but you get the idea with the salad, and she has her chia seeds. Are you ready for us to work on your chia seed stuff?
I think so.
Okay. So we're going to tell you a little bit more about these crackers. Can we just slide this down? Do you want me to show them how to roll it out, or do you want to do it?
I can.
Okay.
Let me put down my knife.
It's going to be, I have a very flat cookie sheet at home, but I forgot it tonight, so. Can I pour this on here?
Yeah.
I'm not going to do the whole amount, okay? Because it'll be easier for you to handle with just less. Is that a good amount?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, good. Now, what do we put on top? We're going to put some plastic wrap on top for the sake of patting it down and rolling it out. Do you want me to put another piece so it's...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. These are my crackers.
She likes them so much. Okay, pat them. There you go. So you can push it down. You want it to be fairly thin, at least 1/4 of an inch thin to like 1/8 of an inch. You want it pretty thin. The thinner, the quicker they dry out in the oven, which just means your crackers are done sooner.
Mom,
It's
can
okay.
you get another piece?
It's okay. I'll get you another piece.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I might be watching.
They're very sticky.
Very.
Sorry.
They're stickier than a frog could be.
I'm stickier than a frog. Here you go, Lovey.
I'm just teasing.
Okay, she's pretty much patted them pretty thin, and then if you want, you can roll it. Can you do that with that pan? Okay, I don't know, maybe that way, yeah. So you can kind of roll it. If you do the whole batch on 1 cookie sheet, you need to try and leave maybe a little bit of space in between. And then the temperature, I think, is like 300 for baking it. It'll say on the thing. Okay, that's good. And she's got it. Once you get it flattened out, you'll put it in an oven. I think it's at 300 for 35 minutes. And I don't know if you noticed, so we can pull this back in that way that your seeds are on there. Can you kind of hold it up for them like that? There you go. And then you're going to let it dry in the oven for about 35 minutes. And then I'm using this kind of a thing that lines the cookie sheet. And so it makes it easier for me to get it off. And I can put it onto parchment after that, but the parchment paper doesn't, you can do parchment paper, but it's a little easier to use something like this for the first step. And then you would do the parchment paper and you would flip it onto the parchment paper when it's dry. Okay, she can, that's okay. And so then after you flip it, you do another 35 minutes in the oven at 300, and then you break the crackers into pieces. And if there are any that aren't thoroughly dried, you put it back in the oven, but I put it in at about 200 at that point for as long as it takes to finish the crackers drying. So I think that's about it, other than with the salad, all I really do with it is I put some olive oil and some salt and some onion powder on it. You can add avocado or olives or bell peppers or something like that to have a variety of things in there, and then you can put it with your beans and such, and it's very nice. So I think I covered everything. Oh, if you cook the beans, you can make any kind of beans basically this way, from my experience. If you cook the beans, though, like if you split peas or lentils or something, I would not cook it on high. I would cook it on low overnight. That they cook faster. And yeah, it just works great for me, I feel like. Anyways, the seasoning that I had in the back, the golden seasoning, the recipe's there, and I just do it in like the blender type thing. The main ingredient?
Salt is the main.
No. Oh, salt in the lentils? Yeah, in any of the beans, I just put salt, and I don't really add other flavor other than my family can add if they want with the stuff. But any questions? I think it's so wet that I'm not sure if it would work. You could try, but I just break them afterwards, so they're not even. That's the one thing.